Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Sarah Zara. And now imagine this. If you are teachers and the students speaks for only 2 minutes, and somehow from those 2 minutes they decide their fluency, their pronunciation, their confidence, maybe even their future opportunities. Sounds stressful, right? Not just for students, for teachers too. Because let's be honest, assessing speaking is hard, really hard. Unlike writing, speaking disappears instantly. There's no second draft, no undo button, no chance to replay the exact moment. You hear it once and you score it immediately. And while students are trying not to panic, and teachers are silently thinking, was that fluent enough? Should this say 7, 8 or 8, 5? Am I being fair? That's exactly why these books matter. Assessing Speaking by Sari Loma, published by Cambridge University Press as part of the Cambridge Language Assessment Series. This book doesn't just explain speaking assessment, it also explains why speaking assessment feels so complicated in the first place and how we can actually do it better. Who is this book really for? Especially useful for teachers, researchers, examiners, and language test developers. What makes it interesting is that it doesn't stay trapped in the theory, and also a lot of academic books feel disconnected from real classroom, but this is not. Sari Loma combines research with real teaching situation, real speaking tasks, and real assessment. So, what's inside the book? In the chapter 1, the book starts with a simple, powerful question. Why are we testing speaking in the first place? But seems obvious, right? But Loma explains that many speaking tests fail because teachers focus on scoring first and prepare second. She introduces something called the activity cycle of assessing speaking, where everything like task, scoring, interpretation should connect back into the goal of assessment. And the chapter 2 completely changes the way we think about speaking because real conversation is messy. People pause, repeat words, interrupt themselves. We say like, like, I mean, and according to Loma, that's normal. Those small words actually help conversation sounds natural and fluent. Speaking is not perfect grammar spoken out loud. It's fast, spontaneous, interactive, communicative, and honestly, that idea alone makes this chapter super interesting. And in the chapter 3, not all speaking tasks measure the same thing. A presentation test, organization, a debate test, argument, and interaction, a role play test, spontaneity, and interview. Sometimes it also tests how well students handle pressure. These chapters explain how teachers can use tasks that actually match the speaking ability they want to assess. And in the chapter 4, how do teachers turn speaking into numbers? Loma explains two main approaches. There's holistic scoring, that's one overall score, and analytic scoring. Spirit scores for fluency, grammar, pronunciation, and interaction. She also discusses famous frameworks like the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages Guidelines and the Common European Framework or reference for languages. And the chapter 5 gets more theoretical but still important. Loma discusses models like communicative language ability and BS models of speaking. These models explain what successful speakers actually do in real communication, organize ideas, and respond naturally, solve communication problems, and also adapt to other people while speaking. The chapters 6 and 7 are probably the most practical parts of the books because Loma gives examples of interviews, role plays, simulations, visual prompts, and also discussion tasks. She also explained how small design choices can completely change student performance. Even something simple like the picture you choose can affect how much students speak. And in the last chapters, the biggest problem in speaking assessment, that is subjectivity. What if two teachers give completely different scores to the same students? there were concepts like rhetoric training, reliability, moderation, and validation become more important. And Loma's message is realistic. She said, speaking assessment will never be 100% perfect, but it can become more fair, more consistent, more reliable, and also. Okay, now let's talk about the strengths of this book. And honestly, there are a lot of them. First, it's academic without feeling impossible to read. Loma explained that difficult ideas clearly, even topics are reliability and psychometric, feel manageable because of how organized the explanation are. And the second is also practical because this isn't just about theory, but it's also these books also include speaking task examples, scoring example, writing skills, and classroom application. You can usually use the idea in real teaching situation. And then this book is comprehensive because the book covers almost everything like speaking theory, task design, scoring, reliability, validity, and much more. It feels complete, right? And the fourth is it's highly respected. This book is widely used in graduate programs and cited in language assessment research around the world. Of course, there's no book is perfect. This book also has a weakness. The first is limited accessibility. In some places, especially for students or teachers who rely on digital resources, these books can be difficult to access online legally. Unlike new educational resources that are fully integrated into online platform or open access database, Assessing Speaking, this book is mostly available through paid academic libraries and purchases copies. And and the second is some example feels a little outdated because the book was published before technology is growing, right? And online speaking has become common. So newer technologies are not discussed as much. And after it books, I learned how to assess speaking and help me in the future as a teacher. So should you read this book? Absolutely, because if you want to understand speaking assessment beyond just giving scores, because at the end of the day, speaking is not only about numbers, it's about learning carefully, being fair, and helping learners communicate with confidence. Whether you are a teacher, an IELTS examiner, a researcher, or a graduate student, this book gives you a deeper understanding of how spoken language can be assessed more responsibly. And this book, Assessing Speaking by Sarah Loma, published by Cambridge University Press, you can buy in the website. So, if you want to learn how to assess speaking and also want to learn how to be fair in assessing speaking, so this book is really recommended for you.